All right, now we're live. We are live, everyone. Thank you. Welcome to Caregivers Embracing Elder Care. Happy Sunday. My name is Bahamia Ulysses. I am your geriatric care manager, also known as Nurse in the Know, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, Robin Downs of Yoga Flava, with her father, Sergeant Major William Downs. How are you two doing today?
Very well, Bahamia. How are you doing?
You know, I'm always pumped and excited. I don't think there's ever one day coming on this show that I'm not super excited to be here and happy. So that's me.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you. So how have you guys been? I wanted to get people, I feel like this has been a long week, Robin. And even though,
So let's take a breath.
Yes. All right. Look,
let's put our hand on our heart.
Yes.
Hand on the heart, left palm on the lower belly. Mm-hmm. And let's close our eyes just to take a moment, take a breath, internalize the awareness, make the transition from all the busyness and allow ourselves to be here now in this moment. So let's inhale through the nose with the left hand, allowing the belly to swell like a balloon. And with the exhale, really pulling the belly button back towards your heart and up towards your spine. Going again, we inhale, allowing the belly to swell like a balloon. And exhale, really pulling the belly button back towards the spine and up towards the heart. Now you just continue to breathe really deeply, really see if you can allow for that deep diaphragmatic breathing. And really exhale fully. When you think you've exhaled all you can, exhale a little bit more. And as you continue to breathe deeply with the deep diaphragmatic breathing, soften your face, soften your neck, soften your shoulders. Breathing deeply, exhale, surrendering, letting go of all the busyness of the day. Once again, allowing yourself to be here now, mind, body, breath, and spirit with Bahamia, myself, and Sergeant Major in Caregivers Embracing Elder Care. And now from here, just bring the palms together in front of the heart center. And the affirmation for today is that I am excited, like Bahamia. I am excited about the upcoming holiday season. I am excited about the upcoming holiday season and all that it has to offer. The spirit in me honors the spirit in you.
Thank you, Robin. That was perfect. You know, I think it is the holiday season now that you mentioned it, that is getting me so excited. I'm always excited to see you too, but there's just an extra layer. Do you notice it about me? I'm just a little...
And that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I mean, really having that enthusiastic energy. And once again, we work well as a team to balance it out.
Yes. And thank you for stopping me while I was getting ready, because you know me, I get on this and I'm on a roll.
And it's great. And just reminding everybody to just take a moment, check in, and breathe deep.
This is true. I think this is kind of the track that a lot of caregivers get on, especially around this time, right? Even though you may not be having the celebration that you're normally used to having, where all the frills and everything and the buzz is happening, we still, as caregivers, kind of try to make sure we dot all the T's, cross all the I's, and really look at how we can make this the best care, well, the best holiday, how we can give the best care, how we can kind of adjust in a way that still feels like normal, how we might normally celebrate.
Festive.
Yes, there you go.
There's a new normal, but still feel festive. And that's exactly the process that I'm in right now. It's just like, okay, the goal is to still feel festive and socialize as best we can with Sergeant Major. I'm so happy you're smiling. Well, we actually had a nice pre-session because I was on the phone here and I put it on the big screen. So Sergeant Major was able to interact with a few people before we got on live with you. So for me, my goal is to be able to have a sense of socializing and be safe. Right now, if I can go into, my story about Okay,
Absolutely.
the plan that we have at the moment is to go to the Poconos.
Yes.
We have set up a trip to go to the Poconos, and we found out from the agency that my father has, he alerted us that there could be some precautionary measures that needs to be taken, including taking a test. So I just want to say right off the bat, I'm scared, Bahamia, about just, having to
Taking the test. If you have gotten this far into COVID without actually taking a test, I totally understand your feeling, because it's not so, depending on where you are, I will say this. There are different forms of the test. And I have to ask you, how do you feel? What's the biggest part about taking the test that makes you nervous?
that they may give me COVID if I
Oh, I hear
I'm reading too many conspiracy theory posts.
Yes, absolutely. So I think one of the ways, this is actually a good point, because a lot of people really have a tough time with having somebody else who's been possibly exposed to COVID taking a test or giving them a test, because they're in such close proximity. So here's my recommendation for you, Robin. And I know they have some of them in New York. I'm not sure about Long Island, so you'll have to do a little bit of research. But the drive up COVID testing centers will probably be your best friend, only because you're actually the only one handling all of the materials. They basically have you drive up to a sanitized cart, or just like a sanitized little tray that has all of the materials that you'll need to basically shove a Q-tip up your nose and put it back in the bottle. There is no contact, meaning that cart does not touch another human being other than you until you leave. So no one's coming up to you or being within 6 feet or even 10 feet. But what they are doing is yelling at you from a distance on how to go ahead and take the swab specimen. So that's a little bit of the frustrating part. You'll get directions in that little tray, but that is the best kind of no contact way that I can say a lot of people have skirted that issue, because of course nobody wants to come in contact with someone who may have come in contact with COVID. That's how it spreads, right? And for those of you who actually go into the clinics or to the doctor's office, know that your clinical team is typically tested every week, anywhere from any 7 to 14 days. And not that that is going to deter you from actually getting it, but they are temp checked every time they come into the office. If there were active COVID virus within them within the last 7 days, it would be detected. So we're getting to about as close as we can to keeping people safe. But ultimately, you can't be with everybody in every single space, right? And that also goes along with traveling. So tell us what else is making you nervous, because I know it's not just the swab.
Well, the swab is making me nervous. And then the traveling, I'm going to be traveling by car.
Okay.
I think what's making me more nervous is the agency's, guidelines. Well, if you're going to be traveling, then we want to make sure you're tested. And I'm like, I'll be all right.
Right, you've made it this far. You would think you'd be all right.
So the precaution that I'm feeling from the agency, and they're like, well, unless you get tested, we got to wait to send somebody back to the house, to help out.
Yeah.
And so all of those things has me concerned. I'm not sure exactly what the guidelines are in Pennsylvania. I saw that there's a COVID app and COVID tracing for each of the states. And oh my goodness, so many things. And this is so, Sergeant Major can socialize.
I know it. We're jumping through hoops. We are. And for good reason, though, this time, right? So one thing I think a lot of people might not know is that you live in New York. For those of you who have been following us or who have been in the group for a while, Robin is in New York, where, that was really one of the first hot cities, right, of the COVID pandemic. And so they are being extra extra vigilant about having certain travel bans in place. So one of the more recent ones, and I don't know if they've actually reinstated it because it was lifted for a little while, was having, I think it might be reinstated for the holiday travel season, is if you are traveling to the New York or even I think the tri-state area, depending, like I said, again, where you're going, you may, if you can't produce a negative COVID test within 72 hours, you may have to mandatorily be self-quarantined for 14 days.
Wow.
So yes, I know it.
Dad's like, this is all to socialize? Yeah.
This is all to socialize, Sergeant Major, and this is no joke. And that reaction is just about everybody else's reaction because it makes you really think twice about whether or not traveling is worth it. Wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Yeah. So in my estimation, for me, it is because I have some aging loved ones in my life who have not unfortunately been well, and making the effort is worth it for me, right? To go through all the hoops. But what's really nice about Florida, which is where I'll be traveling to, so we're all traveling here. You know, we're making it happen. And none of us are going out of the country, so we better just do the best that we can to talk about these things, because there are going to be little bumps across the road. Now, we can talk about international travel if there is a caller, not a caller, someone in the audience or one of the caregivers in the group that has a particular out-of-country international travel itinerary and wants to know some of the better ways to kind of get around some of the issues, because that's even more complicated than what we're talking about right now. So international travel, I would strongly discourage if it's not necessary. But domestic, we can, you know, there are definitely some hoops, but we can definitely get through them. So another option is rapid testing. Rapid testing tends to be a little more expensive. A lot of insurances aren't really covering it, but in the state of Florida, they are. So it just depends. Again, research before you leave. Last thing, Robin, one more question about the Poconos trip. Tell me, how long do you guys plan on staying there?
Thursday to Sunday.
Okay, so very short trip. So what I try to do is tell people, look, if you are going to travel for less than, like, say, 4 or 5 days, go ahead and get that rapid test. And that should be enough, because some people say, what about the false negatives and the false? So if you have a window of less than 4 or 5 days, get the rapid test, because you need to get that turnaround in order to come back, right? But if you are going to kind of hang out and be somewhere for more than 7 to 10 days, like for myself, I'll be in Florida for 2 weeks. I don't necessarily need the rapid test. And that way, because there has been some questions around the accuracy of rapid tests. You've had false negatives where people will test negative in a rapid test and then a week later be positive. And not much had. I know it. It's frustrating, Robin. I know it. And that looks like the conspiracy eye, and then that looks like the is this worth it face. I know it. And I have to just bring you the information, right? So, and I want everybody to really be aware of this, because, you know, we are kind of all looking at what this second phase or what this second wave of COVID is going. We're now in it, right? We're experiencing it. Our numbers are through the roof across the country. And you really need to know how this virus kind of manifests and does its thing, and some of the things that you can do to safeguard yourself. So again, if you're going for less than 3, or I'll say 3 to 4 days, less than 5 days, get the rapid test both before you leave and when you come back, especially if you're going to be exposed to people. That is enough technically to clear you. I know, but not really, right? If you have the ability and luxury of staying somewhere more than 5 days, get the regular test. I've had it done and it's really uncomfortable, Robin. So I know it. Sergeant Major, have patience with Robin if she has to stick a Q-tip up your nose. I know it. You will.
But a nurse does it.
You can, but if you do the drive up, like the no contact, you kind of do it. I know it. So there's the tail, right? There's the lesser of two evils here. If you don't want to do it on your own, you're going to have to go to a clinic and have someone who could have potentially been exposed to the virus do the test for you. But if you're brave enough to tread the waters of being your own specimen gatherer, and I promise you, it's not that bad because when I had the doctor do it, they really go all the way into your nasal cavity. Yes, it's the worst thing and quite uncomfortable. When you do the rapid test at the drive up, it is still a little uncomfortable, but not as bad. And there are tests now that you can do with a mouth swab. So again, depending on your insurance, those can be a little more expensive. They may or may not be covered. I would always check. People don't just go ahead and get a test and then think your insurance is going to cover it or Medicare is going to cover it, and then you get this whopping bill for $200 or $300, and you'll be responsible for it because when these insurance companies deny the claim, it's because you typically, unless haven't been proven to have been exposed or been symptomatic or things of that nature. And yes, you can still have the virus and not be symptomatic. So we want to do everything that we can, especially when you're hiring caregivers. How does your caregiver feel about traveling to the Poconos or doing any of that? Are they
Well, the caregiver deferred to the agency, and the
got it?
agency was like, no. Agency said no. And when you all come back, unless we see a negative test, we're not sending anyone to the house.
Understood. So we've got the tale of two cities here. So I think, Robin, I know you really, really want to go.
Well,
Yes, and I know he really wants to go. And you got to think about possibly not having a caregiver for a short amount.
Oh, that already has been determined. My girlfriend is coming, and she was already like, "I'll pitch in, I'll help," So
yeah.
she's.
But when you get back, when you get back,
I mean, we've done it before. We have, survived.
Yeah, we have it. It'll just be a little while. So yeah, and that's fine. Prepare yourself for that because hey, everybody needs a break anyways, right? It's not to say that, just because you're a caregiver, you can do whatever and not have to deal with life. A lot of our caregivers, I'm having a situation with one of my recent clients. So she has 24-hour care, but also is concerned, and this is her daughter, is concerned that her caregivers are mothers who have children who go to school.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of caregivers, even in the hospitals, the caregivers, professionally and non-professional, are mothers who have children who go to school. So how do you kind of reconcile how much do you expose your loved one to them without overexposing them to the virus? So, wow. Yeah, I know it's a toughie, right? But you need the care. And when you need the care, there's not much that you got to kind of pray and make sure that everybody, seriously, that's what I'm riding on. That is what I'm riding on. And it doesn't matter who you believe, what religious, orientation you have or anything like that. Even if you don't pray, look, this is not a joke and we don't have all of the answers. So if you need care for your loved one, do the best you can to try to maintain a continuity of care. So by that, I mean, let's say you do go away, Robin, do your best to make sure that same caregiver comes back to you. A lot of the times, especially if you're dealing with agencies, if you go away, they can't just leave the caregiver without a assignment. So they may reassign the caregiver to another patient. Now, you don't know where that patient is, where they've been.
And I think he sees other patients on Monday.
Right.
So as much as they want to have me accountable, I might need to ask for some test results myself.
Yes. So most caregivers within the agencies are tested every 7 to 14 days. You can always, I don't know that you can request to see the results because of HIPAA. This is their, private.
Well, then can the agency request to see my results?
They can, because you've already signed HIPAA forms when you started care with them. So yes.
It for him, but not for me.
Not for you, but correct. You're right. And you can choose not to provide the results. And they can choose not to provide the caregiver. So there's always, yeah.
Wow, Dad, all of this.
All of this. And because of, I think, CDC guidelines, most caregiving agencies have a little bit more flexibility in being able to be particular about who they provide care to if they feel that they are not in compliance with safety care protocols. So it's tough. I get it. But I just want you to maybe reconsider the Poconos only if you can't get the support that you need. If you can get the support in and
I have
around
the support. I mean, for me, it's just taking the test. I have the
the test.
support. My girlfriend's coming with me. When we
Okay.
come back here, for the most part, we'll be okay. And hopefully it won't be a long period of time, and I'll work it out with the agency. Really, my biggest fear is the test.
It's the test.
Yeah.
So have no fear. Do you think you'll go into the office or the clinic to get it done?
I don't know. That's what I'll do a little bit more research
on.
about
Okay.
and see.
Take your time with it, Robin. Don't rush yourself.
Leaving Thursday.
Oh, this Thursday? So you guys so it's not for Thanksgiving, it's just for the weekend. Got it. Okay, cool. Well, if you need me, call me in that case. I'll hold your hand. But in lighter news, I think, Robin, you had a little bit that you wanted to share. I know. But we have to get out of the way. Talk about safety protocols. We did, because it's getting closer, right?
Yeah.
Even with our caregivers inside of our group, they know that it's one of those things that we talk about a lot, and there are different steps that we need to take. So putting that to rest, tell our audience about what's new, what's coming in your life, because I think people are going to be really excited. I don't know if you follow Robin, but she did put a little teaser out there.
What's new, particularly on the Robin Downs page on Instagram and also on YouTube, is the fact that I've been working on this documentary, and I put out one trailer before, but I was able to add the footage from the doctor for the new trailer. And the new trailer has been picked up to be screened at a film festival. The Crystal Ship Mini Indie Film Festival. So I'm excited about that. And for me, just, thank you.
Yes.
It's
I wish I had sound effects. I really get this souped up. Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. The crowd's going wild. Just, can you hear it?
So moving forward to my goal with my documentary, to have it screened at film festivals. Once again, they are screening the trailer. I'm still editing the full length of the trailer, and also want to submit this show to film festivals. So for those of you who don't know, my background is in media. So that's a really important part of my life. And I get it from my daddy, the flashbook kid, who has been taking pictures and is an award-winning photographer featured in the New York Times since he was 17 years old. Yeah. So photography, filmmaking is a real special part of our lives, and being acknowledged is a wonderful thing. So I'm excited about that.
I am super excited, Robin. What does it mean? Because I know I didn't really know about the film world for a while, or just even getting into anything like an indie. What, for some people who don't know, what is an indie film festival and what that means?
Hold on.
Yep, hold on. Pause. We can pause it.
Okay. Okay. So you might have heard maybe bigger names, Tribeca Film Festival and things like that. So for especially independent producers, it's an opportunity for their work to be seen by the professionals in the industry. Okay. Like for Crystal Ship, they're going to have people from like HBO and other outlets come and screen some of their artists, of which I'm the artists. So it's a really nice showcase for independent video producers, web series producers, to get their work seen by mainstream media.
Oh, so the whole time I had no idea. I was today years old when I learned that indie meant independent.
Oh, okay.
you have no idea what let's just let that go, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm glad I asked the question. Okay.
Yes.
So everybody will look out for that. Robin is just moving right along with her documentary series. I think we are really putting together a nice format for people who are not only caregiving for their aging loved ones, but those who really have other kind of talents and things that they want to explore and are also caregivers and trying to just relate to a lot of different just artistic outlets, different outlets that allow you to express yourself. I think
and speaking of that, I am going to have a yoga flavored chair.
Yes.
Full session, full like hour session.
Okay.
On the Yoga Flavor page. That's November 21st. So that's another event. We did 30 minutes. I know I keep like we started here with a few minutes and they went to 30 minutes when we had our special workshop. So now if you want the full hour, maybe I'll add a little extra things too. It's November 21st, and you can find the information on the Yoga Flavor page.
Yay! I am so excited for that. Robin, so for those of you who don't know that Robin is a yoga guru on top of her media background, she can do a full split, and I am ready to learn in 2021 how to do it. I don't care if it takes me all year. That is I'm lining up my New Year's resolutions right now. And for that one is, there's that check mark, have Robin teach me how to do a split.
Okay, you got it. So
all right.
That out.
So for those of you who are here, know that by the end of 2021, I will be right there.
Figure out how to make that happen. The other cute thing that happened is that on the Caregivers Embracing Elder Care, they have rooms. I guess everywhere they have rooms, but I just went to the room for the first time on Caregivers Embracing Elder Care, and it was so beautiful because one of my father's friends showed up. Another woman, 85 years old. She was just like, "Oh, I was just passing by my computer and I saw that there was an alert to come into the room, and I came in and there you were." So I know Bahami and I are trying to figure out formats and ways to be more engaged with you. You can always reach out to us if you'd like us to meet you in the room.
Yes, the chat room. We've got to put together a party. Well, Robin had a really good idea as we kind of look at, because we are planning, right? We're planning for 2021. We're looking at ways that we can kind of bring more to the show, like you said, with engagement, more people, just more content and things that caregivers really find important. We thought about doing after parties, even after our shows, just to try to meet each other and really get to know one another and just a community standpoint, right? We want to be able to support you, but we got to know who you are and what you look like. So yes, Robin, I just wanted to say that is a great way. And I not only to get to know people, but to really find out like how we can help. I think that's a big thing about having a support group and putting people into just a safe space, because
and also a more intimate way for everyone within the group to engage with one another.
Yeah. So definitely. So for all that to happen, you need to join our Facebook group at Caregivers Embracing Elder Care if you're already not a part of it. And tell a friend who may have a friend who is a caregiver, because I think a lot of word of mouth still kind of goes, it's like underrated. Word of mouth is still out here, guys. Make sure you tell people that are otherwise unaware of caregiving support groups that have other aspects involved. We really want to be a support group, but also give you some great tools and tips and strategies to help you through the caregiving journey. So I think that might be it. I don't want to overshoot on the time, but we did.
Yeah, you think maybe Bahami, you and I, we can see who shows up, can meet in the room?
Sure. That'll be great.
Let's tap in the room and see who shows up.
Let's do it. So I think we'll log off on the live and hang out over there for a little while for anyone who wants to kind of drop in, say hello, and chat with us, have a Sunday chat. That would be awesome. Did I forget anything, Robin? You know me. I'm always a mile a minute.
That's all good. And just, Caregivers Embracing Elder
Care. Here we go. We got to embrace ourselves. There we go. Come on, Sergeant Major, show. All right, people, this has been a wonderful Sunday. Thank you again. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.